So I thought I'd film a bit of what you have to do on the planter. It's just filling up with liquid fert now. Not to run the hopper or the front tank empty, because when you've got a full thing on the back it's a little bit light. This is a very long front end tractor. I like to keep the weight down, because any sort of weight down the roads, or when you've got those roads, it's detrimental to route, sort of, well, all things route based really. Harry's just putting in some rhino powder. Now this is for C4 diseases. Shall I go into detail? Some of you might want it. So, a dry powder formulation for seed treatment contains glutenil to control black scurf and stem canker reduction. Tractor is on quite large width row crops, so it's on 380s, again for weight dissipation. A lot of my friends have 700 series fence on 320s. You win in a way because you can get a taller row crop in, so you get more air volume. Now I've got, these are the biggest ones that you can physically get under these mud guards. So I've got a 380 on to just get maximum air volume in that circumstance. So these are team powder applicators, and they sort of dribble on via like a little Archimedes screw, dribble on the powder onto the seed passing through. I had to move them. Originally they were here, and it literally dropped the powder onto this sort of front headboard, onto the belt, and then literally straight to the floor. It's hopeless. So I've removed them into above the flow of where it transitions through, and it's transformed the application. But also this rhino powder is lighter than air. It's horrible. As you can see, the machine is kind of going green everywhere you look. It's just sort of tinged green. This stuff is hideous. So into the business end, we have this wheel here. There's a pair there, and they ride on top of the row, and they lift that and that to maintain depth control, which actually is pretty damn good on this machine. Those legs in the middle there, they're the fert legs. It works. One shank splits into two paths. I will have to build them on steel again at the end of this season, but they've been brilliant. So, two streams of fertiliser come out left and right on that white piece cutter bar on the front, and then it's a couple of inches below the seed and a couple of inches to the side. Because of the phosphate, the roots will hit it, and it's just a very good encouragement for potato roots. And there's the opener. Running quite clean actually, because it's getting quite dry, but it generally has got a mound of soil on it. It pries the soil apart as opposed to opens it. I do think that's quite weak. It really needs disc openers. But it's not even an option or anything, but that is a shame. On the back here we have covering discs. Now they're really good as well. Pan it round a bit. Here's the former, and as you know, I'm not a fan of these. Much for your ploughs. It has got, if you've got there, that arm has got a sense for depth control, but none of us really trust it. Probably because it looks like it's bent up. Did put this ladder on here for easier getting up and down. So jumping off stuff is not good for your knees. You need to look after your knees, everybody. So on the side here, this is getting down to the business end. I'll just pan back so you can see. But it goes from the tank here, and that lifts, drops onto this belt, well, in there, and that's just like a distribution belt, which brings a sort of a regulated flow into this section here, controlled by this sensor here, and that keeps a nice quantity tubers in there. We have got a camera on each side just to keep an eye, because the sensors aren't flappable. And now the really brilliant bit is these belts. So the middle belt, was got a stone in there, the middle belts go to the left, and all the opposing belts, how do I word this? Actually, I'll come around the back. That's all 2 belts off. So he's not been watching. I'll have to show him about that. So these belts here come backwards, and all the seed which drops off these middle belts, which are dropping it out the front, bring the seed back to re-go into the middle. And they're powered in by some little rollers I'll show you in a moment. How you've got 2 belts off here. So what happens is, this hood form builds up with soil, the soil goes in here, goes into the belts, and then it literally just prizes them off. And you can't see that from the cab at all. You can see it on the back here, you've got loads of soil, and that's what does it. It's hard to explain, but it's so simple. And I mean, this idea is over 20 something years old, and it's so proven. That's it. No, it is Dewsum. So this wheel here, for different seed sizes, you can set the amount of agitation for each split, and that works out the middle belts in here. As I turn that, it alters the profile of the belts, so the different size fall off to a different degree. Lift the tank now, and this is kind of what you do too. Obviously, when the tank's running out, you get a bit more in front. So in here, oh, it's not a stone, it's a bit of clod. So in here, these belts all go in, or say all, they're middle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They sit in that profile, and they're going forward, and all the rest are coming back. And as they come back, they hit these powered rollers and power the seed to the middle to have another go. Brilliant system. It's so gentle on the chits. And here's where the seed comes back. So these sponges at the front regulate when the tuber comes off the middle part of the belt and down. They just control the dump off the end. It's rare you see it empty actually. So this arrangement here, this is something I knocked up quick a few years ago, probably 10 years ago now. when I got sick of having horrible deep tram lines cut in by the sprayer on row crops. Normally, well, traditionally, we'd get some heavy, horrible rains after planting. The soil's still soft and unsettled, and the spray is just cut straight in, and we'd have sort of 1.5, 2 foot tram lines. I'll put a pick. And you'd have to endure these tram lines to the end of the season, and then likewise the harvester would have to endure those tram lines at the end of the season. Horrible. So what I do now, I switch half the planter off and then plough the soil wave down, and then the sprayer knows where to go. Works really well. We do lose a bit of planted area. However, do we lose planted area? Because the row either side of that tram line generally produces a higher yield, bigger tates, but equally we don't have the blight pressure now from the water splash from that tram line, so we get better quality, and also we don't get the big lumps of soil going in the harvester and grader as a flip side as well. So I'd never go back to not tram lining. It doesn't suit everybody, but it suits us. Rear view of the former, well, what do I say? Just a posh version of a plough ridge, really. Yeah, planters come in all shapes and sizes. Maybe you can get belt planters, which, this is a belt planter, or cup planters, which have like little cups, but they do regulate the seed and put it on really well. However, if you've got chits, they're a bit brutal. Break the chit off and you lose time, growing time. And I just love the gentleness of a belt planter. I don't think I'd go back. But all in all, planters do the same job. You cut a groove, drop the seed in, and cover it up. No matter what you got, how much you spent on it, it just pretty much the same job. I hope that's been helpful. Sometimes I can talk a bit quick when I'm explaining, but yeah, I hope you get the idea. That seed is in tip-top condition really. It's just got a nice little open chit, but not enough to break off. I can't see any chits under the planter. You don't get much more legging than that, but great planting order. Not spilt any there, which is tip-top. Loading on the field, however, anywhere else really. Whoa! That's another box to repair. To be fair, it's quite hard to see. Just got away with that. Yes, that little Kramer is a 2.7 tonne. It won't be any smaller on this job, but it's quite adequate, nice and light. Especially for roaming around on this headlands. If I had a negative, it is quite a low sitting position, visibility. But you soon get used to it. With that hopper being up and down liftable, so it doesn't really affect you too much. lovely round seats, you get a good displacement through the planter. I thought I'd just mention the Powerharrow. It just seems an obvious thing just to forget about, really. It's nobody's favourite machine, but it is kind of essential in this scenario. So the tractor's on the move tyre inflation, which this is my first one on it, and wow, what a revelation. I mean, really, everything should have it now. It is totally spoilt us. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 tread bars. I mean, that's pretty low, you know, a pretty huge footprint, if it actually show you that is. Granted, the weight is on, which is worst case scenario. That is 0.8, or is it 0.7 psi, it says in the cab. So the tines are really quite long. We keep them long for this job because we need the flow path. Oh, if I show you again, the tines are quite long for the flow path through the machine. It has got hard facing on. I wouldn't have chosen welded hard facing, which is here. For those who don't know, it's got a coating on. But I always found years ago when we Powerharrowed too much, once it's worn the bottom off, it wears quick. I prefer the tiles, which are just staggeringly good. The other Powerharrows on tiles. However, you just got to be careful when you drop it in the yard on concrete, you don't smash them off. Obviously, pretty much you might as well bin the tine. So this is a big coon. We used to have, I call it a little coon, but it's a 6 metre. But there's like a light duty, and this is the heavy duty, because I want 20 years out of this, at least. But I didn't factor in, this is 1.5 tons heavier than a normal 6 metre. So it's a brute of a thing in weight. But it's seriously well built and really well engineered. If I actually show you again, I'll pan out. Really chuffed with it, except for the power shaft guards. Why do they put them on? They are hideous. So, I mean, it's just failed again. Yes, I know you've got to have them, but they are really quite shit. I mean, it's 650 quid for that guard. This is the 3rd one now. You just can't keep doing it. So I'm gonna have to come up with an engineering solution and blank it in with either mesh, 1/2 inch rubber or something. But I mean, they're piss poor anyway. They really are a joke. For instance, you've got to grease it this end and grease it that end, but you have to take these off in the morning to grease the guard. It's just ridiculous. On the Grimmy power rotavator, on the Grimmy rotavator we had years ago, this tin work extended through, so they had a mechanical solution for a simple problem. You don't need all this plastic twaddle. That guard could have come here and that guard could have come there and pivoted, fold it up for access and greasing. You know where you are. If the guard's up, you can work on it. It's just a more logical solution, but this is getting backwards. Come on, guys. Come on, manufacturers. You can do better than this. We run packer rollers. Granted, there are others. I don't have any experience with them, so we're kind of stuck with these. No problem with them, really. This machine this is our 3rd season with it. We've barely taken the paint off. Yeah. It's been good.